Chapter 6, Friendships. So, just want to take a step and talk about friendship. It's a pretty interesting concept for me. Friendship as well was always number one on my list. Like there's an exercise we do in coaching programs where there's five categories, right? It's yourself, your spouse, your family, your friends, and then your career. And ranking it, friends was always number one. For me, like friends was my family, right? I lived most of my life like, hey, since I never had family, or that's the story I told myself, friends always came first, right? And it was always like my priority every time, every action, everything. It was always making more friends, getting more friends, spending time with friends, Thanksgiving, spending it with friends, like everything, Christmas, friends, spending it with friends. And it's a pretty interesting realization, but I do think it's important to note that my life has shifted, and I do put a heavier emphasis on family. I would say I have a little bit more balance with the five in terms of work. Those five things I mentioned: work, family, friends, self, and spouse. I would say it's more of an equal balance now. Whereas before, it would have been like 80% friends, like maybe like 10 to 15% school slash like career, and then like 5% of myself. Not even like I didn't like myself was not a priority. Whereas like I think now it's like an even 20-20-20-20 balance, which I think it's great. But anyways, back to friendships. So it's a pretty interesting concept because having 14,000 LinkedIn connections and close to 5,000 Facebook friends, I feel like it's awesome because like I do have like a lot of friends and a lot of connections, but I definitely noticed that like when you spread yourself too thin, sometimes it's tough, right? I mean, honestly, it's really tough for me to keep in touch with all 20,000 people, right? If you include Instagram and you know, some of the people who I just, coworkers and whatever, that's like 30,000 people that if I really wanted to spend the energy and effort to catch up with everyone, it would be impossible, essentially, is what I'm saying. But I do think I do have a pretty good balance of keeping in touch with my friends. And, some people say you can't have it all, but I think it is possible to have it all. I do think right now, at this very present moment in time, I think I have a good 20% balance of everything where I do spend quality time with family. I'm making more of an effort to hang out with family. And nothing's ever perfect. I don't think it ever is. But I do think when people say that, it isn't possible to have it all, like, I don't think you should listen to them. I do think even Mark Zuckerberg's sister, her name is Randy Zuckerberg, wrote a book called Pick Three. And basically her concept is like you can't have it all. Like you have to choose between all that. And I simply just don't think that's true. Let me know what you guys think about this. Please reach out to me. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. But um I think there's like also another theory called like the four burners theory where it's like something has to go essentially is the theory. Like sometimes it's your health, sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's family. But interesting concept nonetheless. So I wanted to talk to you about friendship because I do think it's important. And I know when we last left off, was just discussing my college adventures. So I think like when I graduated from college was when I had the most, I would say like I was the most lost I've ever been in life. I was sort of like trying to find my way, I tried all these different jobs and I don't know. I guess I feel like I didn't have any direction. So one of the best thing that's ever happened to me was this guy named Chris Wong, who became my first life coach. He gave out sample sessions. So if anyone's interested in any sample session, please reach out to me because I know honestly that was one of the biggest life-changing moments that I've been blessed and privileged with. And now I get to do that for others. But some of the exercises you do is like you create like a mission statement, and then he did this program called IPEC where it's talking about different energy levels, and it's a pretty interesting concept. It's basically talking about how we all have different energy levels, and a really low energy level would be like putting blame on people, anger, like blaming, like judgment, blaming people. And then high energy would be like people who, like Mother Teresa or Gandhi or Martin Luther King, people who just like attract like a lot of people. And honestly, I think it's one of my gifts that I do have good energy, and that's always been like the feedback that I've been given. So I'm very blessed to have good energy. Like I know a lot of people would kill to have my energy. But anyways, I notice like I try to surround myself with people that have positive energy more and more every year. Like the last like 3 years ago was when I started like really diving into, like, I did this program called accomplishment coaching, and really good energy levels, like people trying to help. And then I started doing this program called Landmark. Once again, really good energy level, like even like a little bit higher like energy level, to be honest. And that really started to transform my life. And then more recently started doing this program called Next Level Training, which is amazing. Like just the high I just got from, and even a virtual program that I just did this month was amazing. Like just I can't even describe how many layers and how many breakthroughs I've had since then, from releasing like 20 podcast episodes, like since I started the Summit of Greatness, to writing my book, to even doing these, like the Chronicles of Davidson. Like, who thought people would actually listen to my life, But hey, you guys are listening to it right now, right? So, been having amazing breakthroughs lately, and honestly, it's been a treat. I'm very happy to be sharing with you guys all of this. And I know I shared with you guys a lot of content so far, so feel free to reach out to me. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. I think this is just a good way to help me with my biography, because I think when you talk it out, then I don't have, what do you call that, writer's block. I can just keep writing my book. So this is actually helping me put everything into paper, so I could just re-listen to it and be like, okay, that's the next chapter. That's the next chapter. So any feedback that you guys have, if you enjoy it, if you don't like it, just let me know too. Because honestly, constructive feedback is important. People told me, hey, like reread your blog, or hey, spelling mistakes or grammatical errors, and for the longest time I was like, yeah, whatever. But honestly, all those feedback, I thank you guys all the time, because it's making me better. And if you guys are taking the time to read this and give me feedback, that means you guys care. So really appreciate you all, and stay tuned for chapter 7 of the Davidson Chronicles of Davidson Hay.